Welcome to 1000 PS, welcome to the beautiful Austrian Alps, and we've got the perfect 3-bike group test to test these perfect conditions. It's middleweight adventure bikes. The manufacturers are throwing everything at this middleweight section because it's getting increasingly important and sales are increasing, which is why we've got the new Aprilia Tuareg Rally, we've got the updated Honda Transalp and the updated Yamaha Ténéré 700. All three are new for 2025 and we got 2 days of testing in perfect conditions to give you the overall winner. So we're just coming to the end of our 3-day epic middleweight adventure test here in Austria. We've had a real mixed bag of conditions and it's been a complete 100% road test. We're going to do the off-road test in a couple of weeks' time. So which is my favourite and which do I want to take home and which bike do I want in my garage on a Sunday morning? Well, let me run you through kind of like the pros and cons and an almost top trumps way of looking at each bike. They're all similar. They've all got a 21-inch front wheel, they're all parallel twinned, they're all in this middleweight adventure category. The cheapest bike is actually the Honda that just comes in at just under £10,000. That's followed by the Ténéré, that's 10.5, and then we go up to the Aprilia Tuareg, which is the Rally Edition at 12.5. In terms of who's got the most power, that's the Honda. Have a guess who's got the most torque? That's the Honda as well. Which makes sense, really. It's got the biggest engine, it's got the biggest capacity. In terms of revs and power, it's all down to the Honda, followed by the Aprilia that is actually smaller in capacity than the Yamaha. In terms of specification, they've all got ABS, they've all got rider modes, they've all got traction control. The Yamaha has been updated for 2025. It's actually got ride-by-wire fueling, ride-by-wire throttle, which means they've now been able to put traction control on and they've been able to put 2 modes. But in this category, it's the least in the tech world. The Honda and the Aprilia have got more rider modes and engine brake strategies. So in terms of tech, that's a score for the Aprilia in my mind. In terms of suspension and travel and seat height, the Aprilia sits the tallest, that's got a big 880 seat height, followed by the Yamaha, followed by the Honda. In terms of travel and suspension, again, it's the Aprilia, followed by the Yamaha and then the Honda. We've got adjustability, as you would expect. And in terms of dash and layout, both the Yamaha and the Honda have both been updated for 2025. But in terms of simplicity, intuitive, how it looks, how it feels and how simple it is to operate, I'm actually going to go with the Aprilia. The good thing about the Aprilia is once you switch something off, it stays off when you switch off the ignition, which you can't do on the Honda. Also on the Aprilia, you can turn the ABS off completely, front and rear, or just leave the ABS on the front. You can do the same with the Yamaha, but you can't on the Honda. You've still got ABS always on the front, even in the off-road mode. The Aprilia has got the most tech. The Aprilia, for me, has got the best dash and switch gear. The Honda's got the most power and torque. And the Yamaha kind of sits in the middle. In terms of look and appeal and what you want in your Sunday morning when you open the garage door, that's all down to personal taste. But for me, it's the Aprilia again. If I was going to choose a bike just solely on looks and I want to impress my friends, it's going to be the Aprilia. If I want to go soul, character, engine and feel, it's a bit of a difficult one because, again, I really love the Aprilia. I love its rev-happy little 660 engine. I love the way it sounds with this full race exhaust that's Euro 5+. But if you just want to be lazy and take it easy, then it's the Honda because that's got the most torque, the most drive and the most usability. Then when it comes to kind of real world testing and actually using it as an everyday bike, for me, it's the Honda. The Honda's got the lowest seat, it's the most comfortable, it's got the biggest screen, it feels less vibey, it feels plush, it feels comfortable. The Aprilia is tall, and so is the Yamaha. The Yamaha is just a few mil shorter than the Aprilia, and both are obviously catered for the off-road market. Their seats are quite thin, quite narrow, quite firm. After a few hours on both bikes, you're starting to move around a bit. If I had a choice between riding from here in Austria to do some touring this weekend in Europe, then I would choose the Honda. It's kind of much of an everyday bike. It's much easier to live with. It's got beautiful fueling, low down. It's very simple and nicely balanced. In terms of handling, it's an interesting one because a lot of that comes down to weight. And here at 1000 PS, we don't always rely on just what the manufacturers say they are with their claimed weight. So we fully fueled all the bikes, put them on the scales. The lightest bike, no surprise, is the Aprilia at 205 kilograms, followed by the Yamaha at 215.5, and then the Honda at 222.5 kilograms. So the actual weights that we've weighed here at 1000 PS tell a big picture. The Aprilia is considerably lighter than the other two, and you really feel that when it comes to the handling and the performance. It feels much more agile, it feels much more lively. It's arguably a little bit more fun to ride than the other two. Honda have made big steps here. If we'd have done this test in 2024, then the Honda would be really lacking in the handling department and would be getting smoked by the Aprilia and the Yamaha. But Honda have changed the preload and changed the settings of the standard suspension on the Honda, made it much more fun, much more lively, easier to steer, and it handles way better than the 24 model. But it's still not quite on par with the lightweight handling of the Aprilia. And the Yamaha kind of sits in between, in the middle. And I kind of think that's what Yamaha is doing here. It doesn't win at many categories. Like, we know the Aprilia has got the best switchgear and the best electronics, and for me the most appeal, and we know that the Honda's got the best performance and the torque and the ease of use and the usability and touring ability, and it's the cheapest. But for me, the Yamaha kind of sits in the middle. There's loads of times where the Honda wins for everyday how. It's a big one. So I guess it's time to come to a verdict, which makes it a bit of a difficult one, because in many areas the Honda comes out on top in everyday use and practicality, and that's the bike I want to do some miles on. The Yamaha doesn't come on top in many categories, but is always second. So on average, on par, then the Yamaha should take it. But then the bike I want to open up my garage door on a Sunday morning, the bike that I want to go for a ride now, the bike that I want to continue riding, is the Aprilia, but it's the most expensive. So you see my predicament. If you want an adventure bike, middleweight adventure bike, and you're possibly never going to go off-road, you want it completely as a road bike, you want it as an everyday road bike, everyday use, reliable, trustworthy, good engine, good power, good torque, and improved suspension, then I guess it's the cheapest bike here, it's the Honda. If you want something a little bit different, you're willing to spend a few more bucks and you'll put up with a slight bit of discomfort compared to the Honda, then the Yamaha Ténéré is just another £500 more than the Honda. And for the price between the Ténéré and the Aprilia, you could argue, well, I'll just fit an exhaust and give it a bit of character and give it a bit of welly and just enjoy it and still save money. But the bike that I want to ride, the bike that I want to see on a Sunday morning, the bike that I've enjoyed the most, the one I want to ride the most, is the Aprilia. But it's the most expensive bike here. So if money is no object and somebody's going to give me a bike for 6 months, I will take the Aprilia. If it is my money and I'm going to ride all year, then it possibly could be the Honda. You see my predicament. And also, I'm only 5'6", and the Aprilia is quite tall, so then maybe it's going to be the Yamaha. It's a real conundrum and a difficult one to give you an ultimate verdict. But for me, money no object, I'll take the Aprilia. If it was my money, then it's probably the Honda. It's not a real job, is it? Testing middleweight adventure bikes in absolute perfect conditions here in Austria. We hope you've enjoyed the video, but please click and subscribe. As always, if you've got any questions, fire them below. Myself or one of the team from 1000 PS will get back to you with any technical questions. We'll see you on the next one.